Skylanders Trap Team first released 10 years ago today on October 2nd, 2014. This was the fourth installment in the Skylanders series and was highly anticipated after the success of its predecessor Skylanders Swap Force. Although the amount of overall sales, specifically Week 1 sales, dropped, everyone was ready for what Toys for Bob had to offer. And with their return to the spotlight as the lead dev team, they did not disappoint. On day 1, there was of course the starter pack available for purchase. There was a variety of different starter packs to choose from, including PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii, Wii U, Nintendo 3DS, and the new tablet starter pack, with all but the tablet and 3DS versions having a dark counterpart available too. But it doesn't stop there. Skylanders always came out in waves, with almost half of the roster available immediately. And let me tell you, this was the hardest decision to make for every kid back then. I would no joke sit there in the Skylanders display at Toys R Us for an hour and think about what other 2 to 3 Skylanders I wanted to buy alongside my starter pack. They would usually end up being whatever gimmick Skylanders I thought to be the coolest looking, because seriously, fire-breathing lion over helicopter dinosaur any day. Once I sorted out all the possible outcomes and how choosing gear shift over gusto might possibly affect LeBron's legacy, I stumbled across the traps. Originally, there were 8 different kinds of traps corresponding to the 8 elements, 9 if you include chaos, and I was so determined to have a trap crystal for every individual villain. Included in every starter pack was a little piece of cardboard called a trap tray. These were for keeping track of which crystal belonged to which villain, and if you were cool, you had the trap storage box. You know me, I was cool. A few other neat changes are being able to play as minis instead of them just being sidekicks, and the addition of 2 new elements, light and dark. They were actually meant to be a secret until Wave 3 with the release of Nightlight and Nightmare, but this quickly failed. I remember as soon as the game came out, even before the release date in America, October 5th, people found out that Hoodsicle could actually unlock the Mystery Elemental Gate in Know-It-All Island. Once you entered the gate, it wasn't much of a mystery anymore, and the theme was pretty obvious. Last but not least, here are my top 5 best Skylanders from Trap Team. Flipwreck is extremely hated on, and I used to be a hater too, but the more I used him, I realized he's like a mix of the best parts about Chop Chop and Gill Grunt. The wave move is perfect for getting away from an enemy after an up-close sword smack. Nightlight is perfect for slashing right through crowds of enemies, and it's honestly so upsetting that he's as rare as he is. Blackout could have easily been higher if he dealt just a little bit more damage per attack, but that honestly doesn't even matter because his moveset works so well together, and you can pull off some crazy combos with him. They definitely put Snapshot in the starter pack for a reason, and that's because his range is insane. That's why you see lots of people use him for no-death boss fight attempts on Nightmare mode. Gear shift is the definition of let's put every broken move into one Skylander. She wasn't even in my top 5 trap masters until I started playing the game on Nightmare, and that's definitely when you want to pull off nasty combos. Skylanders Trap Team seriously came out 10 years ago. This doesn't even feel right to say, but all those memories of playing Skylanders Trap Team happened 10 years ago. I had such a fun time going over my experiences with Skylanders Trap Team, and I just gotta say, thank you so much, Toys for Bob. They are the people that made so many childhoods, and the whole charm of Skylanders and Toys to Life really wouldn't be possible without them. But don't worry, this video isn't done. Alongside myself, I also got a bunch of your favorite Skytubers on the video to talk about their experiences as well.
Skylanders Trap Team. What a game. I don't know many people that dislike Trap Team, and that's for a good reason. From what I've seen, most people usually have this game in their top 3 Skylanders games, if not top 2. For me personally, it's my second favorite game. Not only is the game itself really great, but the gimmick is top tier as well. Playing as a villain is a feature that I wish was in every game because it is so fun in Trap Team. Being able to fight the villain, defeat them, then play as them right after is such a fun gimmick. What makes it even more fun are the traps, the things you use to trap the villains. I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about putting the trap into the trap slot and seeing the villain on screen get sucked into it. Even better is the speakers on the portal that let you hear the villain inside the trap.
Are you
I mean, that is just so awesome. You can tell so much creativity went into this gimmick. I haven't even talked about the roster for this game yet, but just know it's a great one. The Trap Masters are so grand looking with their crystal weapons and amazing designs, but don't let that distract you from the cores. Trap Team probably has the best core roster in the entire series. Even better is that you get 4 Skylanders and 2 new elements. Even though they were cut short in all their games, I did enjoy the Dark and Light Skylanders that were introduced, and Trap Team was the game that introduced them. I still remember going to Best Buy with my dad, and honestly, I forgot why he took me there in the first place, but I scored big because there was a dark element set there, and that was the last one there and I got it. It just felt so cool being able to unlock what was at the time a somewhat secret part of the game, and then I could also finally trap the dark villains in the game too. Later during Christmas I got the light expansion pack as well, and I consider myself somewhat lucky to have gotten both the element packs during Trap Team's release, because I don't know how many people were able to do that. On top of everything, Trap Team has some great levels to play through. Some standouts in my opinion are Chompy Mountain, Phoenix Sanctuary, Sky Highlands, and the Nightmare Express. When a game has fun levels to play on top of an amazing game, it just makes the experience so much better. And the final level of the game probably has the best Chaos boss fight in the entire series. Now this boss fight is an extremely hard one. I don't think I've ever gotten past it with just one Skylander, but when you finally defeat Chaos, it just feels so rewarding with all the effort you put in. But even better is that you get to trap Chaos and play as him. Finally, it was about time you got to play as the biggest villain in all of Skylands. But unfortunately, this also brings up one of the only things that really disappointed me with Trap Team. By the time you trap Chaos, there isn't much of a game left. I really wish that the Chaos Trap unlocked a level or something like that you could play with Chaos, because the game's pretty much over once you trap him. Still though, I really like the moves they gave Chaos, and of course he's the most powerful villain in the game. I think a big reason why I like Trap Team so much is that after the first 2 Skylanders games, Rise of Adventure and Giants, all the games feel a lot different from each other. But in my opinion, Skylanders Trap Team is the game in the later games in the series that feels the most like the original 2 Skylanders games. And I think something about that just makes it one of my favorite games. While I do enjoy the later games in the series, there's something about the nostalgia of the first 2 games, and I think Trap Team actually has that. It could just be Toys for Bob that made Trap Team, but Toys for Bob also made Imaginators too. And Imaginators does not feel like the original first 2 games. I don't know if you agree with it, but in my opinion at least, I do think that Trap Team has the making of what feels kind of like an older Skylanders game, and I really enjoy that. And another great thing for Trap Team, but maybe not great for your wallet, is that there was a lot to collect during Trap Team, which for me, I really enjoy. So many traps, cores, trap masters, the shelves were always filled with stuff during Trap Team's release. Also, I really like the trap tray they gave you in the starter pack, because just imagine if there was no trap tray, what would you do with all those traps? And it also just is a really nice display. I mean, the trap tray is one of my favorite features in the starter pack. It's so cool that you can just have all your traps laid out, and if you paid for it, you can get a chest that has all the traps in it, and that looks even more awesome. Trap Team is an awesome game with some of the best features in the entire series, from the trap masters to trapping villains. I can't believe that it's already been a decade since this game came out. Shout out to Thumplander for including me in this anniversary video, and happy 10 years to Skylanders Trap Team.
What's going on, guys? It's the Skylander dude, and I have a lot of good memories from the Trap Team era, mostly because during the hype and the build-up to the release of Trap Team, it was actually the first time that I actually stayed up to date with Skylanders news in the leaks, so I found out about these things as they were announced. Whether it was just keeping up with the announcements or watching the footage from E3 2014, it was super exciting to hear about new characters, see the gameplay before the game was even out. Because before then, I didn't really keep up with Swap Force or Giants news. I just kind of found out about things as I saw them in person. So discovering channels like the Skylander Boy and Girl, CoinOp TV, 8-Bit Theater, all the other OG guys that were keeping up with the news was super exciting for me. And I have a fond memory of watching those guys and hearing about the news for the game that was about to release. Trap Team did a lot of things right. I loved a lot of the aspects of Trap Team. The first is the actual packaging. I think they knocked it out of the park with the aesthetic and the look of this year's packaging, especially when looking at Trap Masters. I mean, having a full 360-degree view of a character before you even take it out of the box is sick. And you were able to see all the detail they packed into these Trap Masters. And that's another thing. The character and figure selection was great for Trap Team. I mean, they had some great one-off variants like the King Cobra Kadabra. There's no other King variant, and that one's sick. Also, the minis, giving those sidekicks that released a full moveset is awesome. And how could you not talk about the traps? I mean, that's literally the gimmick. That is my second favorite gimmick they've ever done. Trap Team did a really good job of keeping the magic of Skylanders alive. I mean, putting a trap in the portal to capture a villain, suck it out of the game, and hear it in person through the speaker in the trap portal. It was awesome. They did a really good job with that sequence and made it feel truly magical. And then even the portal itself looked magical with that completely transparent base. Trap Team also had a crazy release schedule with so many fun different characters to go and hunt. Again, I was keeping up with those OG SkyTubers, so watching Skylander Boy and Girl go hunting, and that's how I found out, oh, this new character is now available. I gotta go hunt for it, see if I can find it. That thrill of the hunt was super fun and super memorable, probably my favorite memory of that era. But Trap Team also brought the light and dark elements to the franchise. This was the first time and only time they brought in new elements, and having that surprise just sort of come out in the middle of the game's launch with the light and dark expansion packs releasing in the winter of 2014. It really made people realize that Trap Team is a big game. This was legit. And I think that's how Trap Team still stands today. I think it was a pivoting point for the franchise. It really showed off what they were capable of for one game, which, by the way, they only had 2 years of development time. So it's insane to think about how much they packed into this one release. And I think if kids now were to look at just Trap Team and separated the other 5 console releases, they could truly see the magic that they created for this installment. But thank you, Thumplander, for having me on. Happy 10th anniversary to Skylanders Trap Team, and peace.
Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for a brand new collaborative video, this time here on Thumplander channel, where I have the distinctive honour of talking about my favourite game of all time, let alone my favourite Skylanders game, which is now turning 10 years old. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Today is October 10th, 2014, and I've entered game with what's left of my birthday money. The Skylanders Trap Team store display is amazing, with an abundance of characters and traps decorating the walls. It's really colourful and quite the sight to behold. I take my pre-order slip to the front desk, where they tell me that with any £60 Skylanders purchase, I can join the Skylanders Reward Club, where they send out free stuff after a certain number of Skylanders purchases. Obviously, I want to become part of this loyalty program. Who doesn't want free stuff, am I right? But unfortunately, what I needed was an adult to give their consent for me to join the club, as I wasn't yet over the age of 18 myself. I didn't have a parent with me, and since I was a kid at the time, spending over £60 on Skylanders wasn't a regular occurrence. Rather than pass up the opportunity to join this rewards program, I instead waited for the next day when my mum could go to the store with me to sign me up for the loyalty program. I might have sacrificed my precious few hours for Trap Team's launch, but this is how I got my Quick Draw Rattleshake for free in the end, so it was ultimately worth it. At that time, I had only just bought a PlayStation 3, so rather than getting the game on the Wii like I usually would, I got the game on the PlayStation 3 instead. I beat the entire game, but then my console became faulty, so whenever I tried to replay the game with new Skylanders I had acquired, the console constantly turned off after only a few minutes of play, and it entirely ruined the experience for me. I had Skylanders Trap Team, but no console to play it on. When Christmas rolled around, I got a Wii U console, but fortunately I soon discovered that on the Wii U Nintendo eShop you could download the entire game for free.
Are you serious?
The download took over 30 hours, and when I opened the application, I was expecting a demo, but lo and behold, I now had the entire game available to me on my brand new Wii U console. I could also use the same portal that came with a PlayStation 3 starter pack, so the entire experience was there for me to enjoy, and I didn't even have to endure the Hellspawn, which is the Wii version, beforehand. I played Skylanders Trap Team religiously on my Wii U. It was by far my most played title. Being able to experience the full game after months upon months of setbacks on my PlayStation 3, it just made me appreciate the experience a whole lot more. Skylanders Trap Team often ranks high amongst all 6 games for many fans, in the same vein as Skylanders Giants. Sure, the game has its problems. I mean, firstly, it's unfinished. There are several game-breaking glitches, but luckily you really need to go out of your way to find these, and the glitches themselves create a skill ceiling for speedrunners, and it makes the best runs of the game such a joy to watch. These glitches have never ruined the experience of the game for me. The only tedious ones you find yourself commonly walking into through normal playthroughs of the game are soft lock glitches, but this isn't Skylanders Swap Force where we're talking about here, where the levels take almost 1 hour to complete. You can easily get back up to where you were in the level in under 10 minutes. These levels are also incredibly well designed so that they're both creative, and they each feature a unique spectacle to admire, and they're incredibly fun to play through, so it's not even a problem when you have to replay through 10 minutes to get back up to where you were whenever there's been a soft look per se. The gimmick is also incredible. Rather than bringing toys to life, you're bringing life to toys. After you defeat a villain, you can capture the villain's essence and play as them to fight for the side of good. To add more intricacy to the gimmick, now your trapped villain speaks back to you as if you've really injected life into this once dormant crystal. This is achieved through the portal speakers, which thankfully can be turned off as this very quickly becomes quite tedious, but you have to admire the thought which went into this. It's an incredibly immersive experience for sure, even more so when Chaos speaks to you directly through the camera. It harkens back to the very first Skylanders game, which literally included you as part of the game's lore, as you are the Portal Master bringing the Skylanders back to their world via the power of the portal. It doesn't get any more immersive than that. The boss fights in this game are just as well designed as the levels leading up to them, making every Doom Raider fight memorable and incredibly fun to play through. The difficulty behind each boss also increases your sense of accomplishment when beating them in the end. It's really satisfying to have emerged from the immense challenge victorious. It's clear I'm very fond of Skylanders Trap Team, and that's due to the combination of my personal story getting into the game, as well as how well made the game is. From the trapping gimmick, to the level design, to the boss fights, even the NPCs are really compelling, and I love getting to interact with them all, both old and new. So that being said and done, I'm going to end my portion of this celebratory video. Saying the game has already been out for a decade really makes me feel old, but so is the way of life. Peace out everyone, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Greetings fellow Portal Masters, I am Crash Rousels once again time to CrashTheSkylands with this very special video here on Thumplander's channel. Thank you so much for letting me on the channel to talk about Trap Team. Happy anniversary Trap Team, 10 years of this exact game. Absolutely wild that 10 years ago I was sitting in a room with a bunch of roommates, well sitting in my room, obviously not in the room with the roommates. I went up the road, I pre-ordered the Trap Team bundle for PS3, and I brought it home and opened it on my YouTube channel, Pushpin Gamer. Yeah, so before CrashTheSkylands even existed, I was actually doing Skylanders content. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but on Pushpin Gamer was actually where I got my love for Skylanders. I originally got Spyro's Adventure, but I only played that game on the channel. I don't think I played Giants at all, or Swap Force. But then I opened up Trap Team, an unboxing on the channel, so pretty wild that only, not even a year later, I was transitioning into CrashTheSkylands with Pushpin Gamer being done. So pretty wild that one of the last videos I ever did on the channel was me talking about Trap Team leading into where I am now. So pretty wild that Trap Team's been around for 10 years, and almost I have too. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things about Trap Team was that was when I started turning into CrashTheSkylands. And that's one of the reasons Trap Team means so much to me. I started the channel when Trap Team was still at its high and Superchargers was getting ready to be released. Well, it was March when I started the channel, and it was like in October when Superchargers came, or September, something like that. And Trap Team was kind of my main thing. That was where, like, even on my top 10 favorite Skylanders, I'm like, I haven't got every single Skylander yet, but Wildfire made an impression. I mean, obviously, he's my second favorite Skylander of all time now. He went from number 10 to number 2, and if I listed every single Skylander, literally, we ranked every single Skylander, Wildfire got second place. So, like, there's something big about Trap Team. So it means a lot to me that Trap Team, for the last 10 years, has opened the door for me to make this channel and to meet so many amazing people, like Thumplander, for example, to be able to make this kind of content for you guys. Trap Team also has a great memory for me from the first time I did the Nightmare mode. There was a picture on my my Twitter/X, real deep into there, where I beat Trap Team Nightmare mode, and it showed all of the characters I had that I lost. And there was at least 60 of them. I think it was about 65 of them is what it was, of how many Skylanders I lost trying to just beat Chaos. So yeah, that was when I realized that game was really hard. Along with that, it also gave me some of my favorite villains, like Pinata, Taekwon Crow. Absolutely love playing as them. Even Slobber Trap, you know, like, it's great. Along with that, that was also the luck where Drobot is my favorite Trap Master came from, you know, when I did the Trap Master lock and I beat Chaos with Drobot as a Trap Master. So a lot of great memories with that game, not just on YouTube but outside of it too. I remember playing this and using the traps for the first time and just being blown away by the fact that you had this little crystal, you put it in the portal, you hear him on the TV, and then you hear, oh, and it goes into the portal, and then they start talking to you through the portal. Especially when you're at Chaos's lair, and he starts talking to you directly from the portal, like he presses the button and starts talking. It was unbelievable that 4 games in, they still had this amazing technology and still so many creative ideas, and literally the next year they came up with the best game in the franchise. So, but Trap Team, if you ask people what their favorite game is, it's usually this one. Trap Team is usually everyone's favorite because there's so many varieties of Skylanders that everyone has a favorite. Like for me, Wildfire is definitely one of my favorites, but I love Flipwreck. Literally, this whole little shelf right here is just Trap Team. And that doesn't count for the core, for the Series 2 and 3 and 4 cores, and the minis, and the variants. There was just so much, and of course all the villains. So yeah, Trap Team, happy anniversary. I'm so happy that you've been doing this for 10 years and have made our life very enjoyable for the last 10 years. It is fantastic. And I can't wait to play more of you soon, but on medium. A normal difficulty, I'm not going up to hard. You know what, maybe I'll play a Nightmare lock at one point and just hate myself by the end of it. We'll see. Alright. Thank you so much, Thumplander, for having me on the channel. Whoever's next, rant and rave about how great Trap Team is, because it really is. But as always, I bid you farewell.
What's up, guys? It's me, Sunburning. Cool, right? Yeah. Probably not as cool as some of these people in this video. But thank you so much for Thumplander for inviting me onto this collab of his and letting me be a part of this 10-year anniversary for Skylanders Trap Team, which is my personal favorite game. So I'm going to talk about some of my favorite parts of this game, what my history is with it, and just why I love this game so much. It's just a beautiful game, and it came out in 2014. I was 5 years old. I was young. Miss it. But and just the ability, just knowing the ability I can play as these villains and be able to go around trapping them in these little crystals, and that be a Skylander, not just some like a big figure. And this also helped but it made my grandparents sad because, you know, they just spent a whole lot more money on Skylander figures. But these figures just meant so much to me, and I feel like they knew that. They knew how much I love these guys. And I remember Christmas getting my Skylanders Trap Team starter pack for the Xbox 360, which I believe my first 3 figures were Food Fight, Snapshot, Food Fight and Snapshot and Crypt King, I think, were my first 3. And of course I got the water and water and life trap. And then I went out and I did finally get every element, one trap from every element, and that includes the Chaos trap, which I got, which my grandparents surprised me with one day. What happened is they met up because I live with my mom. I went to my grandparents' house for the weekend because my mom and my dad are split, and you know how that works. I ain't get into that, but so I was going over to my grandparents, and they surprised me with Wallop, and I was like, yay, I got Wallop, which is pretty fun because Wallop is one of my favorite trap masters. And I also got the Chaos trap, which they surprised me with, which is what I needed because I've already beat the game and I really wanted to trap Chaos, and this let me. I've replayed through Skylanders Trap Team numerous of times, because like I said, this is my favorite game. This is the game I go back to the most. If I want to pop into Skylanders game and play it, halftime is Trap Team. It's either Trap Team or SSA. Those two games are just like the most nostalgic to go back to for me, and I just love going back to them. And I never really got many figures. Most of my figures I own now, I went through and bought recently. But I did get one Trapmaster from each element, which was Blastermind, Snapshot, Wildfire, Bushwhack, Gusto, Jawbreaker, Wallop, and Headrush. I did get both of them, and Crypt King. And I also got the mythical, legendary, none of that stuff. Well, the light and dark Skylanders, Nightlight and Nightmare. I did not get Blackout and Nightlight and Blackout, whatever they're called, like really expensive guys. And so I didn't get them, sadly. Should have. Dumb younger me was not that smart. But just owning these figures was letting me 100% the game, which I did own every adventure pack. So I do own Deja Vu, Blades, and of course Nightlight and Nightmare, which allowed me to actually 100% the game, get every villain and everything in the game possible, and just the amounts of fun I've had. My favorite Trapmaster is probably Wildfire, which is of course one of the fire Trapmasters. I do now own Kaboom, and I do own Torch. I'm only missing Trailblazer to have one of every playable core in this game, because I do also own Frino, but that's my only Frino I have, and I don't plan on getting normal Frino because, you know, why. And just being these guys, out of, like I said, most of the games, this is probably the one that's most nostalgic to me. And then we went to one of my least favorites, which is Superchargers, but Superchargers is better than Swap Force. I still have my Trap Team poster hanged up in my wall, which is really cool. And I'm still looking to 100% my Trap Team collection someday. But that is my thoughts, and why Trap Team is my favorite Skylanders game. Once again, thank you to Thumplander for allowing me to come into this 10-year collab. It means so much to me. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to him. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.